Hello, and welcome to Easy Piecy Quilts. I'm Julia Tiedemann, and I cannot wait to share today's episode. We are going to do a 2023 Easy Piecy Quilts countdown. We're going to go through the various quilts that we have made in 2023 and share them with you. I hope you enjoy this episode. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And I might even show you some sneak peeks of 2024 projects that are coming, and I'm also very excited about them. So let's get started with quilt number 10. Quilt number 10 is called American Heartland. This quilt features Riley Blake fabrics, Land of the Brave, as well as some of their basics collections, Shabby Gray and the Star Border. And this pattern features an old gray barn with an American flag adorning the front of it. This quilt in particular finishes at 70 inches by 70 inches. And we have this quilt available as a kit at easypiecyquilts.com. So if you in particular like this fabric, you can get a kit with the exact amount of fabric needed to make this quilt. Quilt number 9 is called Blue Ribbon Preserves. This quilt is so colorful. It really is the epitome of farmhouse style. This pattern finishes at 60 inches by 76 inches. And as you can see, it features all sorts of fabrics. There are so many vegetable fabrics, fruit fabrics. This quilt can be really a lot of fun. And it's also meant to represent a county fair or a state fair where you bring your preserves and they get judged. And of course, all of ours are blue ribbon winners. So this is a really fun quilt. It's great for that person that has the garden. It's great for that person that loves to can, and it's perfect for any farmhouse. Coming in at place number 8 are the angels. This quilt behind me is called Guardian Angels. It is a beautiful baby quilt that was designed in recognition of the Bible verse Psalm 91:11. For he will order his angels to protect you wherever you go. This sweet baby quilt would be beautiful in a nursery hanging on the wall, or just as a quilt, a crib quilt size is perfect for that. And again, this pattern is called Guardian Angels. It finishes at 48 by 60 inches, but we also have another angel pattern. And this angel pattern is called Angelic Choir. And it's a table runner that's more designed for the Christmas season. And it finishes at 17.5 by 52 inches. And here are our sweet little angels on the table runner. Quilt number 7 is called Poppy. This is one of my favorite quilts. I love the fact that poppies represent what veterans have done to serve our country. It is a symbol that our freedoms do not come free. And I love the red, white, and blue of the poppy as well as the background fabric. This quilt is written to include 3 different sizes of quilt. The crib is 45 inches by 45 inches. The throw is 63 by 63, and the queen is 81 by 81. And we have kits for this quilt in all 3 sizes. The small crib quilt, the 45 by 45, I made as a table topper for my dining room table. So it really brings a lot of color to the room. It's really beautiful, and it's a nice size. So I made it in this color palette, as well as this fabric, which is a flower garden from Echo Park for Riley Blake. And I do think I have this this fabric collection still in Fat Quarters on my website. And it is a really beautiful way to display this quilt pattern as well. And I also had a woman contact me and say that it looks like a dogwood. And I agree with her. I think that this flower would be a beautiful dogwood with white on the outside and a pink center, and a black background would be just stunning. So I might try that this spring as well. And so Poppy is number 7, even though it is one of my favorites. I probably should have scooched it up to 2 or 3 because it's just such a versatile pattern. It is very beginner friendly. This pattern, I've had people tell me it looks hard, but it really is not hard. It is, if you've made a couple of quilts, this is well within your reach to make Poppy. Quilt number 6 is called Fairfax. And this quilt, at first glance, just appears to be a quilt like a patchwork quilt, which I do love. But there are a couple of things that make this quilt pattern special, at least I think so. It comes in 4 sizes, so you can make a 45 by 45 crib, 63 by 63 throw, 81 by 81 inch queen, or a king, which was 99 inches by 117 inches. So it gives you a wide variety of sizes that you can make. The other thing that is very specific to this quilt, I think, is that this is one block. So when you have a fabric that has larger scale prints, like this cute fabric or this cute fabric, there's so much fabric out there that if you cut into littler pieces, you totally lose the feel and the design of the fabric. And that is why I actually designed this quilt, because I loved this fabric and I wanted to show it off. But I also wanted a patchwork quilt because I really like the look of classic and antique quilts. So it has the patchwork, it has the featuring of the larger print fabrics. And then the other thing that makes this quilt special is that it looks like it is on point. It looks like that you would be putting your rows together in a diagonal direction, but this is pieced horizontally. So it is very beginner friendly. And so you will be just like any other beginner quilt pattern, not on point. You're piecing these blocks horizontally across the quilt, and that makes it a lot easier. So for those reasons, I think Fairfax is up on the list. I love this quilt. It is fast to cut. It is really easy to piece, and it is fantastic for larger fabrics. So we are halfway done. Our quilt number 5 is called Christmas on the Farm, and this is my husband's favorite quilt. So his vote is number 5. And this quilt comes in 3 sizes. Actually, it's 2 sizes of quilt, but then there's also a pillow. You can make this barn into a 24 by 24 inch pillow. Or you can do a 60 by 60 throw, or your queen is 96 by 96 inches. And this is a traditionally pieced quilt with wonderful reds and greens for Christmas. And then, of course, you have your old red barn with the green Christmas wreath. You've got trees, you've got holly berries, and they're all set off with a nice light background in this quilt. And so this quilt is number 5. It's pattern number 124. And we actually do have kits for this pattern as well. So if you would like to go to easypiecyquilts.com, we do have the throw size in a kit for you there. Pattern number 4 is called Perfect Pieces. And this pattern is very layer cake friendly. In fact, I would suggest that that's how you cut the pieces because it's so easy to cut them from layer cakes, and it's nice because you can pick a fabric collection that you really like, and it makes it very colorful, and it's easy to do that way. But these pieces are also very small, and it would be really neat to make a memory quilt with this. It would be very easy to find different fabrics or even from clothing and make a memory quilt. So I do like that about this quilt as well. There are 3 sizes for this quilt. It's written for a 40 by 40 crib, a 64 by 64 throw, or an 88 by 88 queen size. And this quilt, the meaning behind this quilt when I was designing it is that our lives have so many little pieces, so many lives we touch, so many things that we do, people we love, even not so necessarily good memories. But all of those things are woven together to create our life and our story. And I believe that if our lives and our stories are centered around what is important, which is the cross, then everything will come into a beautiful and meaningful life. And so that is the meaning behind Perfect Pieces. And I hope you will make perfect pieces and it will mean something to you. Our countdown continues. We are to number 3. This quilt is called Love of Liberty, and it is a very vintage looking quilt in my opinion. I really like the hearts on this quilt, as well as the fact that it has economy blocks mixed with star blocks. Economy block is one of my favorite quilt blocks. And the piecing is all done traditionally, except for we've got an applique heart in the center of our economy block, and we've got a small heart applique on our star in the top. But this quilt is given in 3 sizes. One is a table runner, actually. So this is, if you take one of these rows of the quilt, that is a table runner size, and it comes out to 18 by 66 inches. And it's beautiful in the summer on your table. And then we have a throw, which is 66 by 66, or we have a queen, which is 90 by 90. And the fabrics in this quilt are relatively easy to find. Red, white, and blue is a common theme. And I decided to make it a little bit scrappy in the background to kind of make it look like it has more of a scrappy look around the stars, which is a fun way to do this quilt. And I love the quilting, which is the waves and stars. It makes it look like your stars are moving in the wind. And this is a beautiful quilt for summer, and it is called Love of Liberty. Quilt number 2 is called God and Country, and this quilt comes in 4 sizes. It is jelly roll friendly. If you use a jelly roll, you will be doing yourself a lot of favors. And on the back, it tells you exactly how many jelly rolls of each color you will need to make this quilt. It comes in 4 sizes. You have a wall hanging size that's 38 square. You have a throw that's 74 square. You have a queen that's 92 inches square, and you have a king that's 110 by 110 inches square. And this quilt, I wanted to represent America and all of its blessings that have been bestowed on her. And the red, white, and blue are stunning. I love the flags. The crosses stand out against the background. And this quilt is definitely number 2 on my list. Before we get to quilt number 1, I wanted to make sure that you guys know that we have a free pattern available to you. I wanted to give back to our quilting community for all you do for others. I know that you guys work so hard this year to share your talents and your gifts of quilting with others. So this quilt is called Come to the Garden, and it comes in 4 different sizes. There is a crib size at 50 square, a throw at 70 square, a queen at 90 by 90, and a king at 100 by 100 inches square. And this also has a YouTube tutorial available on it, as well as a kit. So if you go to our website, all of our kits have the pattern included in them. So you will get the pattern, you will get all of the fabric you need for your quilt top in the size that you choose. And I hope you take advantage of this pattern, Come to the Garden. And if you do, please send me pictures. I would absolutely love to see them. You can message me on Facebook or Instagram. You can send them on YouTube, or you can also email me at easypcquilts@gmail.com. And I would love to see your projects. Here we are, we've reached quilt number 1, and it really isn't any surprise to you or to me, I'm sure, that Yes, He Loves Me is number 1 on the list. This quilt will always be special to my heart. This is the first quilt I ever designed, and I felt so strongly that the message was something that should be shared, that that's how I actually got into pattern design. This quilt is designed to be 4 different sizes. It is a throw that it will finish at 64 by 70, a twin that's 64 by 86, a queen that's 80 by 86, and a king that's 96 by 102. And this quilt has blessed me in so many ways. I get emails all the time from people who have made this quilt for people that they love, that are going through a hard time, that have lost a family member, that are fighting cancer. This quilt is the representation of why I do what I do. And it means so much to me that this quilt means so much to you. And that's why it's number 1. Sorry about that, but I'm a crier, and your stories really do touch my heart. But I promise to give you a sneak peek of 2024. And here it is. Here is the first quilt that is going to be coming out in 2024. I've decided to make it a tradition around Easter or a little bit before to put out a cross quilt every year. And this cross quilt is called Rugged Cross. It was my grandfather's favorite hymn. I love the hymn. And this quilt will be made with crown of thorns blocks as well as cross blocks. So the crowns of thorn blocks will surround the cross. It's really a beautiful pattern, and I'm so excited to share it with you. And that will be coming out next month. So watch out for that. I also have several other patterns that are going to be coming to you in 2024, including at least 3 patriotic quilts. I started designing red, white, and blue quilts for this coming year, and I just couldn't stop. I love red, white, and blue. That's probably my favorite color combination, especially for quilts. So we'll have at least 3, and I'm excited about all of them. I wanted to do a classic blue and white quilt. It certainly could be red and white too, but it's kind of a play on a postage stamp quilt. I love old postage stamp quilts. I love vintage quilts, antique quilts. So it's a little bit of a play on that with some design, and I think it'll be really pretty with that bold blue and white color combination. I am a healthcare worker, and I have such respect for my coworkers all across the country as well as the world who are ready 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to selflessly take care of others. And I wanted to represent that in a quilt. So I have that quilt designed, and am currently getting the finishing touches on that. So it's a really pretty quilt that I think will lend justice to representing, hopefully, the dedication that our healthcare workers have. So I'm excited about that quilt coming up. And when we're not quilting as a family, although I can only say that I probably quilt, we are golfing. So I have a golf quilt coming out, and it is going to be that classic golf look, like argyles, browns, dark blues. It's going to be really cool, I think. Kind of a guy quilt, which will be a good thing because I think sometimes it's hard to come up with patterns for guys. And it's going to just be a really classy quilt. So keep an eye out for that. We're going to do a winter birds quilt. It's our first snow here today, actually. And I'm watching my bluebirds in the yard and my cardinals and all these beautiful colors that are coming into my yard with birds when everything else is so dreary and brown and drab. And so I love watching the birds. And so I think Winter Birds quilt will be a fun one to share with you. And then I want to do a Christmas quilt. I have had kind of a creator's block on the Christmas quilt that I want to do for a year or more now. And I have this kind of idea, but I can't seem to get it to come to fruition the way I would like. So you'll have to hang with me on that one because I can't even give you much of a clue as to what that's going to look like. But I am excited about it. I do want to bring you a really beautiful classic and Christian based Christmas quilt. So thank you so much for 2023. I wish you many blessings, happiness, and prosperity in 2024. And I'm excited to go through this journey with you and look forward to our coming projects.